Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. What are you talking about, old man? Have you finally lost the plot? This is clearly World of Tanks. Well, yes, it is. But it also kind of isn't, even though it mostly is. You're talking in circles, old man. Get a grip. Okay, let me explain. This, in the Tier 8 Premium British Tank Destroyer, the Turtle Mark I, is Howie Throwing. His vehicle, the Turtle, is basically a Tier 8 version of the higher tier British tank destroyers like the Tortoise at Tier 9 and the Badger at Tier 10. Except it's at Tier 8 where you get to ruffle stomp your enemies with the same damage per minute and effectively the same armour profile as its higher tiered compatriots. Now, if you were some kind of wizened old cynic, you might be tempted to say that the Turtle is nothing more than yet another in a long line of premium vehicles sold by Wargaming that are specifically designed to sell gold ammunition, because it's basically impenetrable from the front unless you fire gold ammo at it, and its gun certainly isn't bad, but let's just say the penetration on the standard armour-piercing ammunition is not amazing. Penetration on the gold ammo is, though. Let's talk about this gun, though, because this is where things start getting interesting. This thing is armed with a quick-firing 55-pounder anti-tank gun, with a base rate of fire of nearly 9 rounds per minute, boosted to over 10 rounds per minute, with the relevant equipment fitted, giving this thing a damage per minute of nearly 3,500, all backed up by an excellent 1.9 second aiming time, very good 0.36 accuracy, with 10 degrees of gun depression, which is fantastic, mounted in a hull that basically has no frontal weak spots. The only real downside is that it doesn't get the insane 90-degree frontal firing arc that the Tortoise does at Tier 9. Instead, the Turtle is able to swing the gun 20 degrees to the left and 20 degrees to the right, not quite the 45 degrees left and right that the Tortoise gets, which means that you can't actually angle this thing at 45 degrees to your target and still be able to point the gun straight at it. But 20 degrees to either side is certainly better than anything French. I mean, it's not bad. And being better than the French is the main thing, after all. I mean, you know, it's British. Here's the thing, though, and this is the thing that bamboozled me at first. Quick-firing 55-pounder anti-tank gun? Put the crack bite down and step away from the keyboard, Wargaming. What the hell are you talking about? There was no 55-pounder anti-tank gun. You're making this shit up. Well, they kind of are and they kind of aren't. Because, and this is kind of where the World of Warships thing comes in, British military did use 55-pounder guns, they just didn't call them 55-pounder guns and they didn't put them in tanks. The British Army did have a BL 4.5-inch medium artillery piece, which was a 55-pounder gun. It was almost certainly never used directly against tanks, however, since it never had an armour-piercing shell. But there was a British 4.5-inch or 55-pounder gun that did have an armour-piercing shell, or at the very least a semi-armour-piercing shell. It just wasn't used by the British Army, because 4.5-inch, or 55-pounder, or 113mm is the calibre of gun that was fitted to Royal Navy warships, and in fact still is. Although it's due to be phased out and replaced relatively soon, I suppose, with the US Navy 5-inch naval gun system, because the company that built and supplied those for the US Navy, United Defence, was bought out by British Aerospace in 2005. So, as best as I can figure out, the Turtle here is actually equipped with a naval gun. It's not the first time that's happened in World of Tanks, though, or even in reality. I mean, I say reality. There's nothing real about the Turtle. It's completely made up and only ever existed in blueprints. He's being patient here. There it is. That's exactly what he was waiting for. Good stuff. But it's certainly not the first time a naval gun was fitted to a land vehicle. And I'm not talking about railway guns either, although that's the obvious example. No, the Jagdtiger's 128mm gun was exactly the same thing. It was a German Navy gun fitted to 2 German Navy destroyers. It's not like... Oh, hang on a second. Oh, he's never going to make this shot, surely. Oh, okay, maybe he is. That was actually kind of epic. But yes, it's not as if the Germans were suddenly going to start designing a new anti-tank gun in late 1944. They just adapted the 128mm guns that they had lying around, either waiting to be fitted to German destroyers that were never going to be built, or cannibalised from German destroyers that were penned up in port by the Royal Air Force, the US Air Force and the Royal Navy, and basically not using them. Oh, I've just read. Yes, I know. You can just put the keyboard down. Stop. I know the US Air Force didn't exist until after World War II. At the time, it would have been the US Army Air Force. Fine, whatever. You got me. Don't worry, I'm sure, based on my track record, that there are going to be at least half a dozen other things I've said that are either just plain wrong, or that I've mispronounced, or you get the idea. Anyway, yes, but the US Air Force isn't one of them. Just leave me alone, alright? Anyway, Howie has decided he needs to move up and buy his team a bit of breathing space up here at the northern end of the map, because while things are not going particularly well everywhere, they're going spectacularly badly down to the south. And once the enemy team have finished ruffle stomping his teammates down there, they're going to be coming this way. So it'd be nice if he and his few surviving teammates up here didn't have to worry about any kind of flanking fire from that T-29, and if you look at the mini-map, that incredibly sneaky Sherman Jumbo that's managed to get right around behind them while digging in and preparing for the onrush from the south. Spot the big brain moment there. He could have just chased the T-29 around the corner and would have probably killed them, but that would have meant exposing his basically non-existent side and rear armour to anybody on the enemy team down to the south who was capable of looking at a mini-map and thinking more than 30 seconds ahead. And already on their way up here. So, took out the T-29. Turns out there wasn't anybody who could have shot at him, but better safe than sorry. Now the team have taken care of the Sherman Jumbo who was behind them, but there's also a Nassau up there. How the hell these guys go? I mean, this is absurd. That's just how badly this match was falling apart. And yes, he did just take a shot in the arse from a KV-2 on his 76mm of rear armour and somehow lived to tell the tale. Oh, Wargamer, what have you done to the KV-2? Well, anyway, there's now only 3 of them left alive, and one of them is artillery. And I can't see the Scorpion being anxious and sticking his nose out because, great gun, 128mm gun actually. Funny old thing, we already talked about that. But absolutely no armour. And while you might be thinking, wait, why are they both going to the same side of the map? Surely they want to spread out and spot more incoming targets for the Su-8? Well, I mean, I can see why you might say that. It's certainly an option. But I think what they're doing here is they're basically heading to the corner of the map. And yeah, there's somebody out there looking at him. This is going to minimise the amount of crossfire and flanking shots that the enemy team are going to have on them. And this railway embankment is prime real estate. Good shot there from the Scorpion. This is prime real estate for the Turtle because of that 10 degrees of gun depression. Scorpion's making a run for it, which makes sense. He clearly got spotted when he took the shot and made the kill there. And he doesn't have the gun depression or the armour of the Turtle. What he does have, however, is mobility. And also an excellent gun. And since the Su-8's dead, yep, that means there are now also enemies behind them. Fatal error of judgment here from the E-25, not just shooting at the front of the Turtle, but also waiting to take an additional shot at the front of the Turtle, while the Turtle's pointing its gun at you, and already smacked you for more than half of your health the first time it pulled the trigger. Now there is a Scorpion over there as well, somewhere, and there's a Spittek. What? Well, you pronounce it. I don't know. Hey, if they don't want me to pronounce it like that, they shouldn't spell it like that, alright? Howie's trying to get in amongst the buildings here. To give him some protection from the enemy Scorpion G that he believes is on his flank, up where the artillery died, near where the E-25 just died. And if you can get in here, use the buildings to cover his flanks, with the friendly Scorpion covering his rear, who's now moved back up over to the north of the railway banks, and there's the Spittek. Good shot. You do know there's a Turtle here, right? Oh, he's looking at the Scorpion G. Okay, well, his indecision is Howie's. Gotcha. Okay, the friendly Scorpion G's in trouble. Can Howie keep him in the fight? Possibly, but also possibly not. He has to try that, because they are still outnumbered 2-1. I think Howie's concerned, that's what he was concerned about. Yep, it's almost like his spider sense was tingling. If he were to go around the corner after the M10 in support of the friendly Scorpion, he would have been exposing his side and rear to the enemy Scorpion. They'd taken him out. Nice. I was kind of worried that the first shot missing would have gotten the the friendly Scorpion G killed, but nope. And unfortunately, that wasn't actually a low damage roll. That was actually bang on the money, 330 damage, but it wasn't enough to finish off the M10, who did kill the friendly Scorpion G, which means that Howie is now the last member of his team, fighting against 3 enemies, and he's on 7 kills. And the only logical reason I can think of for the M10 going there, yep, was to lure him into the gun sights of the KV2. This could be kind of painful. Oh, the KV2's missed. He clearly didn't send enough dissidents to the gulag. Oh, well, that's a shame, isn't it? Because one more shot, the KV2's dead. Is it going to reload in time? And our survey says, nope, not today, sunshine. Kill number 9. Look at what they've done to the KV2. There's just one left, the AMX-13 F3. And let's face it, I don't really much fancy his chances. Although it's fast, he could lead Howie a merry chase around the map. But I think he loitered around just a little bit too long. I mean, he's on his way. But you got spotted, mate. And this has 0.36 accuracy and a 20-degree firing arc. Yep, that forget it. Because that is game over, victory, 10 kills, and a Pools medal for Howie throwing in the... frankly, just a little bit overpowered British Tier 8 Premium Tank Destroyer, the Turtle Mark 1, with the naval gun. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.